big one to understand about any kind of addictive behavior is the involvement of something that's called dopamine. As far as I know, in all the research and all the training that I've done, there is no addictive gene that they've discovered yet. The biology of it is if you are predisposed to things like depression or anxiety, there can be a sensitivity to developing addictive behavior patterns, trying to cope with what's happening underneath the surface. What they have discovered is that there are predispositions or vulnerabilities to addiction, which revolve around things like depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder, things that do have a genetic component to them.
If there's a certain demographic of people that have found this video and we're talking about addiction, we're talking about alcoholism or drugs or sex or gambling or whatever that is. I can see in my own life where those certain things, I was lucky. I never really had, alcohol didn't do that much for me.
Yeah.
You know, and then with my Irish Catholic, heritage, it's really shocking because my uncles didn't go that way. One for sure in particular didn't. But what I got out of alcohol wasn't anything that I thought was fun.
Exactly.
So therefore I went on to exhibit B, what was behind door number, 2 as opposed to door number 3. And I found the one, like you said, that suited my addictive personality to what it got out of it. But the escape was better behind door number 2 than it was behind door number 1. So in the addiction world, people who are watching this for the first time, can you just explain to them, how their family member or their loved one or a person who's choosing addiction over their family or their job or their relationship or their kid isn't really a choice?
Yeah. So nobody really chooses addiction. I love that.
That's why I said the air quotations. I'm choosing the addiction over you, my love. Yeah, because I love it so much. It's so much I mean, in my life.
There's a lot of different factors that are involved in the development of any addictive behavior, right? So it's not just down to one thing. It's the combination of biopsychosocial plus spiritual aspect of things. So the biology of it is if you are predisposed to things like depression or anxiety, there can be a sensitivity to developing addictive behavior patterns, trying to cope with what's happening underneath the surface. As far as I know, in all the research and all the training that I've done, there is no addictive gene that they've discovered yet. There are a number of different studies that say that they've discovered it, but when you look at the research, it's not able to be reproduced. So I'm not saying that there isn't an addictive gene. I'm just saying, as far as I know, that they haven't discovered one as of yet. Doesn't mean that it's not there. Just means they haven't discovered it. What they have discovered is that there are predispositions or vulnerabilities to addiction, which revolve around things like depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder, things that do have a genetic component to them. Open up people to finding a substance that is basically self-medicating. So there's the biological aspect to it. There's the psychological aspect to it, which revolves heavily around the aspect of developing schemas and modes that we talked about in the first conversation that we had. So the childhood environments, the unmet childhood needs, the way that we develop stories about things. That's also involved in the social aspect of things, the environment in which we grow up in. But the big one to understand about any kind of addictive behavior is the involvement of something that's called dopamine. So dopamine in your system is a neurotransmitter that is involved in every single addictive behavior that there is, because dopamine serves a number of different purposes, but its fundamental and primary purpose is motivation to do something. I always remember when I was in school, the prof that I had talking about dopamine and saying, if you want to remember what dopamine does, what's the first 2 letters? D-O, do. So when you're experiencing dopamine in your system in really high levels, then your system is motivated to continue to participate in that behavior. And substances take that, and process addictions take the natural level of dopamine through the roof, and it kind of hijacks the brain, removing the choice out of the whole process.
Gotcha. Okay, so you bring up dopamine as well. The other word that people have heard a lot of is serotonin levels.
Yeah.
The dopamine levels, serotonin levels. So I just thought maybe you could distinguish the two.
Yeah. So dopamine is primarily involved in motivation. Like I said, there's a certain amount of it that's involved in euphoria, in the reward system in your brain. But it's basically teaching you to, I need to do this at a certain level. Now, serotonin revolves around that feel-good factor that you get. So it's like, this makes me feel good, this makes me feel happy, this makes me feel joy, this makes me feel those experiences that I want to gravitate towards. Now, you can experience serotonin in a number of different ways. Dopamine itself, usually when we start talking about addiction, in a lot of them, there is a serotonin factor to it, but dopamine is the primary motivating factor that causes people for their brain to be hijacked. Hey guys, first of all, I want to thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed the content. This particular chat was filmed as a part of a podcast series to support my good friend Chuck Basti and all the work he does as a mental health advocate at Chuck's World of Infinite Mojo. If you want to see the full podcast or just see more of what Chuck does on his social media platform, check out his YouTube channel that's linked in the description below. When it comes to what's going on here, I am on a serious mission to make this platform profitable. Why? Because when I do, I am committed to making sure that every single penny of profit that's made from this YouTube channel goes back into serving the community that needs it most. So, as always, please like this video, leave a comment below, and make sure you subscribe to the channel to get all the latest content available right here at The Liberation Place. Come join us for our live online conversations every week. I'll put all the links in the description below, and let's get the word out there about living the life you want to live, not staying stuck in the life you're currently stuck in. Hopefully, see you soon.